Welcoming you to the Vagal Stimulation pop-up for the Body Dialogues, which is actually part of the Soul Tribe offering. And I will be sharing that information with you at the end of our call, trying to keep it to 45 minutes or so tonight. And I will be staying on for questions after. We'll be completing the recording there. So thanks for spending time and stepping into the space of deepening with your own healing, deepening with the partnering with your own nervous system, and becoming that authority and your own sovereignty of your own healer. So often, as you know, I start with a meditation and a body scan as we move the energy in our space. And so I will attribute part of this languaging to Vina Steibel, who's the founder of Theta Healing. And I tend to use the term source, but you use the one that lands for you. That energy could be creator, that energy could be Jesus, that energy could be God, that could be nature, whatever is your understanding of that divine, pure, unconditional love. Please use the words that really resonate with you. So let's get started. I'm going to just invite you to close your eyes if that feels okay for you. And just begin to kind of tune in to where you are right now. Just feeling into your body itself. Maybe you've got some tensions. Maybe you've got some busy mind going. Maybe some shallow breath. And just noticing it. No judgments. Just kind of scanning into where you are. This is about tuning into us. And when we live in a world where everything is taking our energy out, it's so healing and so important to cultivate this tuning in. And so once you get that snapshot of what it is that you came here today with, we're going to start moving into shifting things. So with your next breath, just start tuning into your heart center. Maybe you put a hand on your heart. Maybe you take a breath into your heart. Maybe you just visualize a heart. All our pathways of dropping in, and all perfect. And so as you continue to breathe into that space, just allowing anything from your day to just drop away. Maybe any of the energies that you picked up in any of the places that you've been, conversations you've had, exchanges you've had. Just for now, you're going to call your energies back home and send out any that are not yours or serving you, or maybe just aren't in your highest and best. Nice. And on your next breath, you're going to begin to let those energies start to wind down your spine, landing in that pelvic bowl. Maybe feeling your sit bones on your chair. Maybe you're laying down and you feel the support of your spine. Just again, tuning into that awareness. It is said that awareness is curative. And on your next breath, letting those energies wind down your thighs, through your knees, through your calves and ankles. And just gently opening those drains on the bottoms of your feet. Easily and effortlessly allowing yourself to surrender any of the charge, any of the busyness, any of the worriedness, franticness, or any iterations of that traveled with you in your day and are alive in your cells. Mother Earth will compost that for you lovingly. Nice. And on your next breath, allow those roots to grow from the bottoms of your feet down through the layers of Mother Earth, all the way into her core, to that earth motor. And as you activate that grounding cord, allowing anything else that was ready to leave to do so with ease and grace and gentleness. And as your heartbeat syncs up with her heartbeat, it's going to lovingly and easily begin to nudge any part of the nervous system that has been in that fight, flight, or freeze, our survival programming, to gently and easily come into the rest, digest, and heal part of our nervous system. Beautiful. And on your next breath, begin to sip up some of that nourishment from this Mother Earth, of which our body is made of the same substances, bringing in any of the frequencies or minerals that are just for you today in the moment. Sipping that up easily and effortlessly as it comes all the way through those feet and legs, thighs and hips, and into that root. This root chakra is oriented with the adrenal glands, the ones we need for survival. And so just sending a little love into those glands that are so powerful and important and often overused and pressed upon. So any fatigue, exhaustion, or drain, just to be sent out. Continuing to sip up that nourishing energy all the way up your spine, balancing all your chakras as it ascends each level. It pulls all the way up to the space right above your head. And you're going to notice this ball of light above your head. Maybe it has colors in it today. Maybe it's simply iridescent or golden. However it seems for you is perfect. And you're going to imagine yourself stepping into this ball of light as it travels upwards through the stars, through the universes, and through the galaxies. Traveling further up into the golden light of the ascended masters, angels, and archangels, thanking our ancestors, thanking the land, thanking this beautiful body with you today. As you go through the jelly-like substance of the universal laws of all that is, and coming into the pink mist of compassion. And just let that wrap around you and through you and in you, gently lifting you higher and higher, and higher and higher, and higher and higher, all the way into that tingly, pearlescent, bright, bright white light of the seventh plane of existence. This is the energy of creation, of atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons, and the home of this divine, pure, unconditional love. And with your permission, we're just going to gather up that love. And we're going to bring it down through all of those layers of light into that space above your head. And with your permission, we're going to download all of your cells with this unconditional love as you begin to tune back into the body awareness we began with. And like a waterfall, this energy is going to pour over you and in you and through you and expand your whole auric field with this radiance. Maybe taking a breath into that light even further, bringing it into your lungs as the joy and the giggle of life, penetrating all of your cells, all of your quantum particles, all parts of you here and now. Nice. And for a moment again, just tuning into where you had the busy mind, or the tensions, or the worries or agitations, and just noting with this simple meditation and visualization, what's different? What's there now? Again, without judgment, just with that tuning in awareness. Nice. Take another breath into that heart space and beginning to orient yourself to your space again. Maybe you're moving your hands or your feet gently, your shoulders, your neck. Just coming back into this space and time. When you're ready, you're going to open your eyes. Yummy. So state changes can be that quick. They tune into our nervous system, and we use all of the avenues to create change. So I'm going to start by sharing some slides tonight. Shocker, me and my data dumps. Regarding the vagus nerve, and just giving you a little bit more information about the importance of it and how to begin to access it as this avenue into healing in our nervous systems. We started out the meditation talking about fight, flight, freeze, and we need them. And if you've been to my webinars before, I talk about them often. It's not so much that those get activated because we're here, because we have them. It's that we learn to reset them. So if you were at one of my first webinars regarding the state of the nervous system, this is a journey into deeper partnership, into that dialoguing, into that tuning in, and into beginning to develop and cultivate tools and skills in doing so. And as we complete the slides, I'm going to stop the share and we're going to post in the chat a list of some of the things we talked about and then just walk through them together. So you have an opportunity to practice them while we're in the call and ask questions, of course. So of course, I've got to start with the picture of the vagus nerve, which is cranial nerve 10. And if you've heard me speak before, the cranial nerves are much like wires that grow out from the brain and meet their end organs and are hugely important for our function, for our perception of our world, and for our ability to live fully. The vagus nerve is also called the wanderer, and you can see why. Look at this illustration of literally how long this nerve is. It comes out of an area of the brain near the hypothalamus, and it is the longest nerve. So it's literally growing out from here, coming out around the ears, has some investments in the vocal cords, the mouth area, which is important. We'll be speaking to why humming, laughing, yawning, making sound with that is part of stimulating that aspect of the social engagement system or the vagus nerve. The anterior aspect, the ventral aspect. So it then moves down the neck, another important place that we'll be speaking to, moves into the chest and has its own investments in the diaphragm, into the heart and into the lungs, because of course we would need that if we needed to move into a state to run from something or to fight something. These areas need to be ignited quickly. Then it passes through the diaphragm and it goes into our abdominal contents and definitely our intestines. So the fact that it wraps around the heart and the solar plexus center, it's very involved with our feelings, our felt sense, and our thinking. So we have an extraordinarily hard time feeling, again, if we're stuck in that fight, fight, freeze, and not in our rest, digest, heal, which this is in charge of. About 75% of that parasympathetic nervous system is dealt with and commanded by this vagus nerve. In the neural realm, we talk about vagal toning. What is the tone of your vagus nerve? All we're really talking about is what is its capacity? What is its communication? What is its strength and stability? So stepping into some of these practices is beginning to cultivate that tool, cultivate that break in our nervous systems to help pull us out of that fight, flight, and freeze. So again, very hard time learning or healing when the vagus nerve is disturbed. I love this slide. I'm not going to spend much time on it today. It gets threaded through all of the things that I speak to when I talk about nervous system state. But the crux of today is that bottom center, social engagement. This is all Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory. It just means there's a few branches of this vagus nerve. So I spoke to the ones coming through the face and through the vocal cords and throat was about social engagement. We are wired to engage, to be in communication and connection with others. But we need to be in a place of safety in order to do this in a manner that is in our highest and best. So you can see in this bottom, we can enjoy connection. We are oriented to our environment. Again, ventral vagal nerve just means the one on the front. That's all that means, right? So this is a place when we are feeling safe and grounded, we can experience the present moment. We can have and be in compassion. We can be in curiosity, safe to engage, versus in that pull back where we're not feeling safe or we've got to get out of here, or that defensiveness that I have to fight whatever's in front of me. And I'll add, remember, this is also our internal dialogue and narrative as well, right? So that middle section is just our fight or flight. Are we running away? Are we fighting it? And the top one is the freeze. It's the oldest part of this vagus nerve. That is the dorsal aspect or the back aspect. It's also sometimes likened to the dive response. So again, very early in the nervous system, but still used. This is a little wordy, but I just wanted to hit a couple things that once we've tipped into that place of threat, again, a mental, emotional, physical, chemical, if it's external, psychological, like all of those realms can trigger these responses. It's not just the saber-toothed tiger anymore, right? It's the fight with your partner. It's the getting stuck in traffic. It's the narrative in your head that will start to tip us into that other part of the nervous system and hijack our physiology, hijack our healing, hijack our wellness, right? Hijack our present moment and our openness, and is very costly. The point I wanted to reference up here is that once we go into that, we're kind of internally or externally in that state of, right? The jaw clenches. I think that was an interesting comment that they tighten to prevent the jaw from being ripped off in trauma. The body is aware that without the lower jaw, we can't chew food. Without food, survival is difficult, if not possible. So think about the tension in these muscles, and these are powerful muscles in the jaw, right? Once they're hyper engaged, what type of issues do we start to get? Do you notice you get headaches on the side of your head? Are you grinding your teeth? Right? These are big factors that then will play out over time, right? The fascia in this bottom section speaks to tightening, and that's again genius, because if it tightens, it will stave off blood flow. And I'm planning to launch another pop-up on the connective tissue and how we can partner more with unwinding those tensions, because over time they will accumulate, they will summate, and they will harden, dehydrate in our bodies, changing our movement, changing our lymph flow, changing our blood flow, right? And therefore loading our joints very differently and not optimally. The muscles along the spine tighten to protect the spinal cord, because the body's basic instinct is to protect the central nervous system, without which we cannot live. How many of us have tight back muscles? Just checking. And then, of course, the adrenal glands that came up in the initial meditation. We love them. We want to put lots of love around them tonight, because they are what are in charge of dumping those steroids, the corticosteroids, the adrenaline into the body, epinephrine, norepinephrine, in order to go, right? So again, if we were running from a saber-toothed tiger, yay, or had to have the power to lift a car off of loved one. However, when it's always being pressed upon, that gas is up, maybe even a foot down all the way on the accelerator, what do you imagine happens then? So that is dysregulation of our nervous system. We've been talking about what's called the autonomic nervous system, or the automatic nervous system. It controls many things: our breath, our respiration, our digestion. Again, rest, digest, heal would be our sleep. All things we need. Most of us have stayed really jacked in that other system. It's called sympathetic, but that's the fight, flight, freeze we talked about, or fight, flight. And we've stayed jacked with that foot on the ground, and we get so used to it, we don't even know until our digestion's off, our sleep is off, we're super reactive, we're exhausted, we keep getting sick. Sound familiar? Right? So our busy lifestyles for sure, our constant connection for sure, our disconnected from light nature for sure. And we'll be going into the next webinar that will be on the 3rd of May, how the emotional body plays into all of this and the vibrations that create these states. So a trauma or event in the past that we could not process at that time had us stay stuck in fight, flight, freeze, and is undigested in the emotional metabolism that was going on in the body at the time, and often gets stored in cellular memory. So it didn't get to be completed and reset to this other part of the nervous system. And obviously, continued exposure to danger and stress, addictive substances, living in an unsafe environment, life transitions, death, pregnancy, divorce. I'd add in their marriage. I don't know why they don't have one. They would talk about those being the biggest stressors, or changing jobs. That often can be there too. Moving. I'm going to add that. I've done that a lot. It's not simple. It's not simple. Great places to practice these tools we're going to talk about. So just to put that up there for your visual field, vagus nerve, that wanderer that we just talked about and showed, controls your heart rate, controls your digestion, controls your respiratory rate. Don't forget your inflammatory process. So this vagus nerve is helpful for cutting those loopings, actually. Controls your blood pressure, controls your voice and speech, controls your gut-brain axis and your immune response. So if it's not working, your body will suffer. And so just to give you a little bit of a view for releasing sleep hormones, helping us focus and concentrate. Remember, back to that present moment, back to that stating of healing and learning being about this nerve. In my world, any kid in school would be doing some of this work before tests, before classes, before anything stressful. They would learn about their state in order to step in, create a state change, and be in a completely different place for engaging their world and becoming successful. It's currently not taught, but we're going to dream that into being. Constricts the pupils, right? Because in the state of fight, flight, freeze, they're actually dilated so that we can get more light in. Saliva, this is, again, the vagus nerve for rest, digest, and heal. So it maintains a resting heart rate and blood pressure and breath rate. So if you've got a healthy, tonified vagus nerve, you can drop back down after a workout or after a startle or after a stressful event. Again, the reset is what we're really focusing on here. And I'll be also speaking more to heart rate variability and the importance of that in coming lectures. Provides consistent muscle stimulation to keep them healthy and not locked. Produces digestive enzymes. Like, we need those. We need those from our pancreas, from our gallbladder, from our liver to actually process that food. And I would also add that the stomach pH, or the level of the acidity within the stomach, goes down in that stressful state. Because remember, we're not digesting if we're in fight flight. In fact, the blood is going out to the limbs so that we can run or fight. It's not coming down and going into the small intestine and grabbing what it needs and packaging and eliminating with the large intestine. No, that's not happening. So how many of our adult cohort have digestive issues on one extreme or the other? And so producing urine, that's an important thing too, is part of our big detoxification pathway. So what do we do to stimulate this vagus nerve? And in a short summary, well, lots of things, but just to give you a few, cold exposure we'll be talking to, gargling, humming, singing. And when I'm talking gargling, I'm talking like you really want to go at it. You really want to stimulate those vocal cords, that tissue, because that's the connection that we're trying to get. Humming, singing, of course, shower, your car, anytime. And I would add even just sounding out if you're stretching in the morning, because physical exercise is on here, but even just opening up that connective tissue, moving your body, right, is going to stimulate that nerve, and it's going to stimulate other receptors. And adding sound to it is something we call neuroland, is stacking, right? So while I'm stretching and opening my body and stimulating that nerve, and I add some deep breaths, which we'll be doing, and then I add some sound or some humming, wow, now I've got 3 avenues of stimulus. It's good stuff. You can get a lot done in a little bit of time. Staying in social and laughing relationships, thinking about belly laughing with your best friend, some of the most healing things you can do. Eye gazing, we will not be doing today, but that is another way. We will be working with our eyes. We'll be doing shifts and we'll be doing range of motion, but there's also eye gazing with a candle or with a partner that has its own gifts to it. Massage and acupuncture. Touch. Touch is super healing as long as that's a safe space for you and you're with a safe person. Touch can be super healing. And I would add touch to yourself. We invited you at the start of the call to just simply put your hand on your chest, connect with your heart. And grounding, being in nature, getting your feet active. Don't get overwhelmed with this. Just see that Y that has the line, that the sides of the ribs in the center. Those are diaphragm points. And we're going to stimulate those as soon as we complete the slide so that you can feel the difference once they've been stimulated with your breath. And just so you know, if you care, you're also stimulating a lot of other cool reflex points for the organs. So back to touch, your own touch, and even finding areas that you tend to hold stress. This can be extremely valuable as you begin to partner with your body and learn where you are ready to release and where you're ready to receive. So cold therapy, super powerful, big in the neuro community as well. Cold plunges are the thing. If you're not ready to run to Alaska and just get into the water, you can start with cold showers. You can be in the shower and just alternate from cold to warm, even if it's just at the end or with your legs or with your arms, getting your belly. And again, go slow with this. Gradual introduction is important. Know your body, know your limits, and then you'll begin to start to create a tolerance. Cryotherapy are chambers that are done with liquid nitrogen. Those are full immersions. Cold face bath. Doing it, you can certainly do it with an ice, bowl, but you can also just do an immersion on your face before going to bed at night to calm your system down. Doing a cold water wash on your face, beautiful. Or you're in the kitchen, grab an ice pack. You can put that on either sides of the neck because you saw that that was the path of the vagus nerve. Cranial nerve stimulation happens when we move our eyes. We not only have the second cranial nerve, which is our vision, but we have 3, 4, and 6, these other numbers, remember there's 12, that help move the eye with the muscles around them. So that's, again, a trifecta of stimulus into the brain and into these centers. The oculocardiac reflex is simply when we do a gentle pressure on our eyes, again, very gentle, and it has been shown to stimulate the vagus nerve and calm the heart rate down. When we're doing these things, we're stimulating our brain stem. And there's an entire practice in the psychological field called eye movement desensitization resynchronization, or EMDR, where you can begin to unwind emotional traumas with different eye positions. Beautiful work. Hence why I stated emotional regulation. So the eye shifting is more about a hold. So our vagus nerve is activated and strengthened when we hold an eye position, right? So one example is just laying on your back with your nose to the ceiling, and without turning your head, you're going to shift your eyes to one direction and hold. You may start to notice a little bit of yawning, or you may start to notice a little bit of like rustling in your body. Allow that energy to move. It's safe to let that move. After that amount of time, you're going to then shift your eyes into the other direction and hold there. Again, if you move, this is the sign that the nerve is being stimulated. Sometimes you'll get like belly gurgling. That's another sign that your vagus nerve is stimulated. So we'll just walk through, the suggestion. If I gave you just this horizontal line, which is great, but we'll just walk through both that kind of plus pattern and X pattern and circles, because, I want to add range of motion for you guys to loosen up the eyes. Like, think about how long we're staring at a computer or into our phones with this hyper focused tension in the eyes. Opening up the eye fields and opening up the eyes themselves is super powerful for the nervous system. Ear pulling with intention. In this example, you can see his arm from the opposite side is on the top of the ear, his arm from the same side as the bottom. And you can actually pull it as if you're twisting it. The back part of the ear will go backward, the front part of the ear will go forward. We'll walk through that again. This stimulates nerve endings. This stimulates the auricular therapy points within the ear, because there's actually a whole body map there. Stimulates the vagus nerve because that's the path. And it also stimulates meridians that go across that. The triple warmer is one of them. We're going to be adding a jaw release, because what did we say in fight flight? We get super tension in that jaw. And so adding things such as opening up the jaw, moving it side to side, doing circles. I know this looks hilarious, but it's really what I do, to open up the muscles of the jaw and to stimulate the opening of the neck and the throat. And just by opening up that ear, you've got two other cranial nerves, 7 and 8 for our facial nerve and 8 for our hearing, that can also get bound up in these places of tension. So just to zoom in on this muscle called the sternocleidomastoid, you don't have to remember that. It's just this long one that pops out. And this is important. So we're going to make a statement of just a general neck massage. And you're going to see a picture in a moment of a specific place where there are little receptors called baroreceptors that also get another looping into the vagus nerve. I put up this ear picture to show the different directions you can pull the ear, and to actually also get inside, because the vagus nerve is stimulated, is innervates the inside of that ear. So this is the picture I mentioned regarding the specific place for the stimulation. You can see it's kind of like where you would take your pulse, like with a workout, if you're going to be timing it, or you might have seen a doctor do it, checking that carotid pulse. So that's going to be the place, again, that can be stimulated with prescription of the approval of your doctor, of course. So when you stimulate that receptor, you get increased vagal tone, and it also affects what's called the SA and AV nodes in the heart. They're the rhythm and basically the nervous system within the heart, which keeps it firing from the time we're born to the time we cross. I wanted to reference this. I think I'll bring it in later to teach you guys a little bit more about it. The Resimax is an amazing tool for vagus tonification, and this new mouth device, which I now have and love, is one that helps to reset the tone of the fifth cranial nerve of the muscles to the mouth. So of course we add eye movements to that when we stack, but I wanted you to take a look in the PDF that I send out. I'll send some more information on that and link to it if it's something that would be interesting to you. And if you desire to hear more about that, we're also going to be sending out a survey so that you can put your own request in for what some of the pop-ups can be, catered to your interests and needs. So if you've had a dysregulated nervous system, feeling overwhelmed, brain fog, rage, anger, panic, worry, fear, constantly on edge, poor concentration, sensitive to light and sounds, I mentioned before, or depletion, exhaustion, agitation, reactivity, So some of the things that we just went through, and we'll walk through hand holding right after this. You also breath work. Deeper breath work journeys are just sitting for a bit of time and elongating your inhale and elongating your exhale in order to stimulate that nerve. Time in nature and disconnected from technology. We stated hot baths, you're stimulating all of your skin. Your skin is your biggest detox organ and is the same layer embryologically as the brain. So it's super connected to the brain. Yoga or movement, of course, any mind-body exercises. Infrared saunas are another avenue for resetting the system. And of course, there's some supplements that can be used as well to support those adrenals. We are not human beings seeking a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings engaged in a human experience. Come out of your head and into your body. So just to put up that Soul Tribe subscription that has these pop-ups included, the webinars included, they'll be releasing the meditations that will be recorded, of course, connection within community of like-minded souls, and discounts on other offerings that I have through my company. And so we'll be sending out some of this information as well. It's $10 a month. I mean, most of our subscriptions are more than that, I can tell you, mine are. Okay, so thank you for your attention on slides. I do see I ran a little bit long, so if you do have to go, you can watch the recording for the walking through the points, but I'm going to do that now and of course address any questions that may have come up for you. So we had a moment in the beginning where I asked you to just tune into your body, into your tensions, into your breath, into your heart rate. And then we walked through meditation as we used visualization and we used the energy work to start to state shift. And then I asked you to tune in again. Where are you now? What did you notice? What shifted? Huh? And so those short meditations that I'll be releasing is another way to just, again, spend some time shifting our state and being able to do so. So the diaphragm points. It's that upside down Y, right? These rib angles all the way up the sternum. And you're going to just kind of stimulate those edges. Now, up to you on how soft. Sometimes the body wants just a little bit of soft stimulus, or maybe you find a little bit of a point and you want to hang out on it a second. And if you do that, of course, I'm going to invite some sound and some movement to move that stored energy, because that's what we want it to do. It's meant to move. But often from those states of hurriedness, busyness, fight and flight, it gets stuck there. And so go at your rate, go at what's comfortable to you, but it can be done as quickly as this, all the way up into that top part of the sternum, just to get you a little bit of activation. Then you're going to stop, just feel where that area has been stimulated. Take a deep breath in through your nose, all the way into your belly, all the way into that root of you. Maybe hold for a moment, and then you're going to let your exhale be elongated through your mouth. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. You may find that there's a little bit of a cough, or you felt like the air was already out. Take your time. Not always does our diaphragm get all the way tucked back up like it's meant to do on an exhale. On an inhale, it comes down into our belly. And when you use that full range of motion, not only are we getting some squeegeeing on our intestines, which is lovely, but we're also getting some squeegeeing on that heart and lung field. So those extended breaths in to bring the breath down into the lower lobes of the lungs, to fill up the belly, to massage those intestines is super valuable. And we're not generally doing it in our daily life. I can tell you that most of us are in a really shallow or breath hold pattern. Who does it? I did it. I totally get it. So again, those points, the upside down Y buttons, work into those. Pause with that long inhale through your nose and filling your whole belly and your back. And then take your time with your exhale. And of course, I'll say add sound and movement. The other cool part about that extended exhale is not only you are emptying those lungs and squeezing out any of the parts of the lungs that aren't holding fresh air, but you're also then going to trigger your body into a deeper inhale, expanding that capacity of your breath. Be gentle, go slow. Notice if different positions are different for you. Standing, laying, sitting, having skill in all of those areas are important, but you may find due to some of your tensions, maybe other injuries, that maybe one feels a little more available. So just check out those different positions and see if, for example, laying is really easy, but sitting is challenging. Maybe you start to build up to the sitting. Maybe it's a different incline angle so that you can start to claim those ranges of motion for yourself. Beautiful. Belly breathing we just spoke to, the importance of that with the elongated exhale, making sounds, stimulating that part, stimulating the mouth, opening the jaw. So you could also add that jaw release after you do a breath or two. This is going to be hilarious to watch. Oh, all right. Using your hands to kind of strip that down. If you want to do a quick rub on the side of your head, you can do that too, because the muscles of the jaw come up and insert on the sides of the head. Hence why I asked about headaches, right? Again, once you open your mouth as fully as you can, maybe you stick your tongue out as well, because that is also helping with range of motion. Side to side, you can do the side shifts and hold and go into circles. I can't watch them messing up the circle. Oh, cool, guys. There we go. 919. Wow, right? And then just notice something about tuning in is also about noticing it before, tuning in, making an invitation, and noticing it after. For me right now, actually, I feel some lightening in the back of my head, which makes sense because the jaw muscles are linked with those suboccipital muscles. I also feel a little warmth in my chest. Cool. Just noticing blood flow, noticing releasing of tension, all things we want in our daily lives. Yeah. The eye holds or ranges. We showed you the shift already that you would just lay on your back, or you can do it at your computer to lighten up your eyes throughout the day. Let your eyes float all the way to one side and you would hold there. The benefit of doing it laying is obviously you're not working your postural muscles and you really can just let your eyes move. But if you're using it as like a midday hack, all right. I mean, do it to the range that feels okay for you and comfortable for you. Again, for that one, it was about a 60-second hold, so it's longer. I'm going to add the, as we said, the addition sign and the X, because those are different movement patterns for the eyes and neurologically. So you can always put a cross on the wall in front of you, or you can just allow your eyes to travel from the downward position all the way up to the top. And then slowly moving down. There's no rush. Take your time with it. Notice if there's an area that's kind of uncomfortable. Take a breath there with sound and see what happens. Usually it releases some of the tension. If there's a shake, let that come up. Let your eyes travel back down. Starting to notice maybe where they want to skip or jump or just get there really fast. Knowing that this activity actually not only connects you to your body, but helps to stimulate your vagus nerve, free up your eyes themselves, and shift your state. So again, we did that cross to the left and to the right already. I'm just repeating it with a little bit quicker of a movement than the 60-second hold. And the up and down, you can always start in the middle. And that's a down this way like an X and follow it all the way up this way. This is what we do when we do a neuro exam on the eyes. We want to look at the pattern of movement. We want to see if it skips or jumps or has any nystagmus. Coming back to that center. If you like to use your own hand like I'm doing, you obviously can. All the way up to that corner, slow all the way down to that corner. And again, just noticing if there's any places. This one right here was a little sticky for me, so I'm just going to spend a moment releasing that and then just go back through that smooth pursuit. That's what this is called for the eye field, smooth pursuit. And we do that actually for training and balancing the brain. So it's a super powerful health investment for yourself. All right, we also can add circles. Right? So we just did a plus sign, we did an X sign. Well, what would a circle feel like? So allow your eyes to go up and trace that circle. Now I'm making mine big right now, but you can make them small based on your comfort and your skill level for your eyes. We want to stretch and grow and stimulate these nerves, but we don't need to like take you all the way into overwhelm. So really check in on yourself. So if we're following that circle pattern, you may want to think of it as a clock or use your clock, noticing what numbers on the clock. 10's like that right now for me, that's got a little sticky. You know, do I want to pause there, like I said before, and just take a breath? I feel energy move for me. I feel relaxation come in. Maybe I want to go up a little more. I still feel like there's like a little bit there. So I'm going to spend another moment. Maybe add some sound. That feels good to me. And then I'm going to finish my circle. And maybe I want to try the other way just to feel like, oh, that side smoothed out for me. I don't know what you guys are noticing, but I'd love to hear if you want to chop them in the chat. And then just coming down to middle. I'll be doing another pop-up on eyes also with convergence and divergence in the Brock strings. That's some other amazing work for tonifying the eyes and working with the brain. So the inner ear massage, we talked about the arm for the ear pull, the opposite arm coming over the top, grabbing the back of the ear, the bottom being held by this one, and we can pull that back one forward and the bottom one back. So it's a little bit of a twist, and you may feel that is pulling behind your ear. You may feel it into the jaw. That's all okay. Take your time with it. You're moving the fascia. This is a fascial maneuver. You also, when in this, can also add some head range of motion. See what it feels like to start to generate that neck movement, because neck stretching will also stimulate the vagus nerve. Maybe I want to go a little bit like this. Maybe I want to just add eye movement. Go back to adding the circles. You know, this is supposed to be play and fun. Remember, fun. Yep, just correct your neck. Your neck definitely will move with this. Maybe you come out and roll your shoulders. Move your jaw a bit. Close and open your eyes. And again, notice, like this side of my head feels really open and warm. This one feels less so. So I'm actually going to do the other side because I just want to. So reaching that finger around that back side and the one on the front, that goes forward, that goes backwards, right? Maybe I want to add some neck movement. Ooh, I like this way right now. Oh, some sound. Don't be afraid to sound. I don't know how often I have to say that. Maybe I want to come back to middle, add some jaw and some eye movement. So again, stacking. And again, come back and witness it. Come back and feel where your body's at. Take a breath into it, right? Fill that space with love. Fill that space with connection. Fill that space with pleasure. I keep telling you guys that we're wired for fight, flight, but we're also wired for pleasure. Like, don't we want to bring more pleasure and fun and joy into our lives? We got enough of the other stuff. So that's a version of resetting. And then you can also go to the inside of the ear. I'm going to move my earbud. Going into, this is called the tragus, the antitragus. You want to go into that area and start to stretch it. So that other picture had like an ear pull different directions, maybe pull it forward, right? Push that tragus down like that, go into the ear itself. It's interesting. I just heard you could also use some essential oils if that's your jam. Cool, right? And then just pausing, breathing into that area, commanding it, sending love into it, finding ease. Maybe you want to do the other side. Forward, mine's a little stickier over here. Some jaw stuff for me. Going into the ear, pushing on the tragus. And tuning back into it. Breathing in through that space. Sending out anything you don't need. Bringing in more of that divine, pure, unconditional love and ease. Maybe sinking back down into your heart space. Oh, that's yummy. I like that. And then the last was that specific place. So if you, that long muscle, that sternocleidomastoid, it's just, we'll call it the neck muscle. It helps turn your head, and underneath is that vagus nerve. So right where you kind of take your pulse, and I'm just going to say, go lightly, start lightly. A little bit of stimulus, maybe little circles. That feels good to me actually right now. Maybe the other side, little circles. And if you feel so inclined, you could always follow that up with an ice pack on your neck. Lay down with it. Again, to your tolerance. Move that to the other side. Because remember, we have two of these vagus nerves, one on each side. They are sets, they are pairs, and we want both of them to be strong. And often, because one side of the brain is more active than the other, we generally have some hemisphericity, one will get more downregulated. So just notice, maybe there was one you're like, ooh, that side wants more, or ooh, I was a little more like sensitive to cold there, or I was tighter there. That's all awareness. You're building awareness, and you're cultivating your tools and your skills for resetting your nervous system, tonifying your vagus nerve, coming back into your body, and being in that open, curious, present place to move into your life with and create what you want. So I thank you for your time tonight. I thank you for your energy, sending you all with so much unconditional love. I'll stay on for a few moments to see if anybody has any questions. As I mentioned, we'll be sending out the survey. Come to the Soul Tribe. We welcome you. We'll be having all of these and more, and I'd love to host you for them. And send any of your requests if you feel inclined about what you really want to be talked about moving forward. So thank you for your energy. Thank you for your night. And maybe just spend one moment now feeling the results of this beautiful time you invested in your healing, in your connection to yourself, in your releasing, and in your receiving. And maybe just taking a moment to compare that to that first snapshot that we took when you sat down from your day and all of that was with you, and what state you are in now versus then. Sending so much love to you all. looking forward to when meeting again. The next webinar will be on the 3rd of May, and the pop-up dates will be announced shortly. Any questions I can address for anyone? Any thoughts or shares? Oh, good, I'm glad. Yay, Kathy, and the eye stuff is so cool. Yes, it is. Oh, I'm so happy about the yawning. Let it come up as much as possible. Huge reset for the nervous system. And again, I'm just going to keep saying, because it took me a long time to make sound, it's super valuable. And once you get through the, oh, I don't want to upset anybody, or oh, that's obnoxious, or oh, that's uncomfortable, it really becomes a powerful tool for resetting your nervous system. And again, working on that vagal toning. Yeah, lots to process. So let's just make sure that you all have all the information you need, landing easily and effortlessly. It'll come back through. You'll have the video to watch again. Whatever wasn't meant to land doesn't need to right now. Sometimes as we rewatch things at different points in time, they have a different stick point. You know, who knows? Next time you get on social or, you know, get on, you know, one of the web pages, you're like, oh my gosh, cold plunging. I just learned something about that. And we start to put the things together as they become more relevant for us. So just trust that it will come through for you and play. This is meant to be playful, right? This is you starting to listen to your body, moving through the pain body, moving into the deeper connection and partnering, releasing stored tension, energies, and emotions, and claiming yourself back. Have a beautiful evening. Yay, thank you. Sending you guys with so much love. And of course, the information later to play. Mwah. Thank you.